care. You're just cheering for the winner, like straight up. It doesn't matter how ugly you win a Super Bowl. If you leave with that trophy, that's all that matters. So, what else does each team need to do to be successful, Scotty Ball, you ask? All right, well, I will tell you. Since we focused on the defense, we'll switch to the offense. And, obviously there's the generals that hold true to every game. Win the field position battle, win the ball control time of possession battle, win the turnover battle, things like that. Those things always hold true every game. The one thing I will say in regards to those generals, in particular to this game, is that the Panthers, being the superior team, have more wiggle room in there than the Broncos do. For the Panthers, it is less important, that they don't lose the turnover battle 2-1, than the Broncos. The Panthers can turn the ball over twice and still win the game. The Broncos, I definitely don't think if they turn the ball over twice they have any chance of winning the game whatsoever. I think one turnover for the Broncos is maximum for if they can still win the game. 2 would be the push. And of course, 3 turnovers or more, 0% chance Broncos win the game. Honestly, I could see the Panthers turning the ball over 3 times in this game to maybe the Broncos 1, or 2. But I could see the Panthers turning the ball over 3 times in this game and still coming out victorious. I really could. Now, as far as the Panthers go, what they need to do and are going to do on offense is run the ball. They're going to establish the run. They're going to do that with Jonathan Stewart as the running back, and they're going to do that with Cam Newton as well. They have a lot of designed runs for him, and it is going to be imperative that the Broncos defense is not only prepared schematically to defend those plays, but that they tackle extremely well, both individually and as a team, because Cam Newton is a beast to bring down. And then outside of that, all you gotta look for him to do is convert a whole bunch of third down conversions to tight end Greg Olsen, or wide receiver Ted Ginn Jr. on some short receptions. Possibly old man Cotchery, Jericho Cotchery. And then finally for the Panthers, when they get into the other team's territory, and especially into the red zone, they score touchdowns. They have an incredible touchdown efficiency rate when in scoring range this year. So those few things hold up for the Panthers. It's going to be a Panthers victory. But what can, should, and will the Broncos do to counter or have a chance of their own, you ask now? Well, I will tell you. First and foremost, the Broncos will need to run the ball. God, I don't even know what word to use here, because they don't need to do it great. They just need to run the ball effectively, we'll say. If they can average, all the Broncos have to do is average 3 to 4 yards per carry on the ground. That's it. If they can do that, the next step, because that's not it, it's just it for now. If they can do that, then the next step becomes converting on third downs. Third and shorts, by the way, if you're running the ball on first and second down, you're averaging 3 to 4 yards per carry. It's either 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 2, where Peyton can just take a quick little 3-step drop and short pass, and boom, there's Emmanuel Sanders for an easy grab, first down, or D. Thomas for an easy grab, first down, or Owen Daniels for an easy grab, first down, or Ronnie Hillman out of the backfield, first down. But then from there, you get that established. You're moving the ball. You're working that. That eats up clock, keeps your D fresh, all kinds of good things. Okay, whether you're getting touchdowns ideally out of that or just getting field goals, you get that established. Then from there, you can start mixing it up more in your passing on first and second down. But you're not taking big shots. Do not look to see the Broncos take deep shots, big pass plays ever at any point. Peyton can't throw those throws anymore, plain and simple. So when it comes to the passing game, they've got to have a lot of, wide receiver screen plays. They've got to have a lot of running back coming out of the backfield, a lot of quick slants, a lot of, quick comebacks, things like that. That's only going to lead to first downs and points, however, if they first establish the running game for that 3 to 4 yards per carry on first and second down, like I said. Because if they don't, it's third and long. Those plays aren't designed to pick up that big of yards. And if the run isn't a threat on first and second down, then the defense is going to be in a much better formation, sub-package, play-calling situation to defend against those short pass plays that the Broncos are going to need to do as well. So, in order for the Broncos passing game to be successful, they're going to have to establish and set up the run first. Like I said, it doesn't need to be this big, huge, grand thing. It just needs to be a commitment to running the ball on first and second down and, an ability to average 3 to 4 yards per carry on those. Now, I think the last thing I want to go over in breakdown style here would be how the Denver defense needs to go about stopping the Carolina Panthers offense. And then we'll get to our predictions, and the rest of our sports talk will be done with our Super Bowl preview. Now, I did already bring up quite a bit of that. Actually, now that I think about it, is when I was discussing the having to tackle Cam Newton extremely well, gang tackle a lot, be extremely disciplined, in your assignments and your gap control on defense. You definitely got to attack the edges, the offensive tackles on that Carolina Panthers offensive line, because from guard to center to guard, it's probably the best left guard, center, right guard trio in the entire NFL on that Carolina Panthers offensive line. So, if you're going to attack him, you got to attack him outside there. But the danger with Cam is not in his arm at all. It's completely in his leg. And part of that, don't get me wrong, part of that this year is not Cam's fault. It's a lack of good quality, dangerous receivers. But if you can pressure Cam Newton to where he's got to relocate, but he's not able to escape the pocket, okay? You don't need to be sacking him necessarily. You need to be applying pressure, but not allowing him to escape the pocket. Still, get the ball out of his hand. He completes less than 60% of his passes. He's one of the worst in the league at completing passes as a quarterback. I mentioned that all year on this freaking show. So that plays into your strength. You want him standing back there throwing the ball. He's not that big of a threat standing back there throwing the ball. Extending plays with his legs. Making more play than what was originally there with his legs. That's where he kills you. So, you either got to get him down, you either got to get all the way to him and get him down when you get to him, or you got to simply control where he's able to go. You can't necessarily control what he's able to do, but control where he's able to go at least then. And say, well, fine, fine, Cam. If you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us by standing there and throwing the ball around. That's what they got to do. Outside of that, the Panthers' offense really isn't much, with the exception of Jonathan Stewart, running back. I've always liked Jonathan Stewart, their running back, when he's healthy. His problem, his whole career has been he's never been able to stay healthy. But for some reason this year, he's been healthy almost all of it. You got Greg Olsen at tight end. He's definitely their number one threat in their receiving core. And then Ted Ginn Jr. is kind of their, poor man's. I don't want to say Antonio Brown. Poor man's Percy Harvin, maybe. And that's just about it. Old man Cotchery and some really young, late in the draft rookie, I want to say as well. Like, that's it. So it is the Cam Newton show with a occasional side dish of Jonathan Stewart, but it all comes down to Cam. And we've seen in the past, not so much this year, but we've seen in the past on film many examples of how you can game plan against Cam Newton to give him trouble, throw him off his game, take his strengths away from him best you can, and give yourself a better chance to win. So, those are the Broncos' focuses. Offense, they've got a tall task on offense and a tall task on defense as well. Whereas the Panthers, they've just got a tall task on offense. They don't really have all that tall of a task on defense. But I don't think I can handle any more breakdown. Let's get to it. What is my prediction for Super Bowl 50? Well, ladies and gentlemen, after all that, statistical and philosophical football talk, it really comes down to this law of nature. We've got Panthers taking on Broncos. Who the heck thinks that Panthers would be defeated by Broncos? I'm talking animals. Like, I'm literally talking the animals. It's a panther versus a horse. Okay, the panther is going to win. The only way that horses beat panthers in a battle is if the horses outnumber the panthers and can, somehow find a way to trample them, I guess. I don't know, but that's hard. Like, panthers can still jump and claw and bite, and they're fast. Panthers beat Broncos. That's like, what wins, a lion or a freaking? Would you pick the San Diego Chickens to beat the New York Lions? No, you don't beat chickens to beat lions. Lions beat chickens. Lions eat chickens. Panthers eat horses. Panthers beat Broncos. That's what's going to happen, unfortunately, in my opinion. I'm cheering, if you couldn't tell, though, I'm sure you could probably tell. I am going to be cheering very hard for the Denver Broncos. But my prediction officially, regrettably, is the Carolina Panthers will win Super Bowl 50 by a score of 24-16. And your MVP of the game, see, this is where it's tricky. Because everybody could say Cam Newton, and that's the obvious. But I don't think it will be. I think if and when the Panthers win, they will have gotten a turnover or 2 or 3. They will have probably had a defensive score, because I don't think their offense is going to score a ton against that Denver Broncos defense. And thus, I think your MVP of the Super Bowl is actually not going to be Cam Newton, who will probably turn in a 2-touchdown performance, 1 rushing, 1 through the air, a field goal, and then a defensive touchdown by either Luke Kuechly or Josh Norman or whatever the heck that other corner is that's really good, or Thomas Davis, but likely not him with the broken arm. However, with that broken arm, adds to the storyline if he does make a big play. A lot of votes for stuff like that. But that's my pick. That's my pick. I won't say which one because I mean, really, who knows? I shouldn't have to pick exactly the defensive player.